Welcome back. In this section, we'll be covering domain names and DNS. We won't be going into too much technical detail, but we will be covering domain names, DNS, why we'll use it, and how Route53 can help, as well as how to use alternatives to get us started in using our own domain name for our organization. So let's get started and get into some baseline theory. Domain names are the way you can identify a website on the internet. Each domain name must be globally unique, such as acme.com or linkedin.com. You can have subdomains from that, so www.acme.com, or you can do www.profile.acme.com or mail.acme.com. Domain names are one part name and one part domain extension, so you can have the .com, .org, .gov, and through this way you can point to many different servers and web resources. And overall it can be secured behind a TLS or SSL certificate. Route53 is an end-to-end DNS service. Through this service you can register domains and you can manage your own hosted zone. A hosted zone is a Route53 concept analogous to a traditional zone file. So that means that hosted zones allow us to manage DNS settings. We can define subdomains and where they point to, for example public IP addresses of a machine running WordPress or mail server settings for Amazon Workmail. You can transfer a third-party domain to Route53, and DNS settings can also be changed in a third-party domain provider if you don't use Route53. You can do the same sort of stuff with GoDaddy. Route53 does allow for cross-account domain configuration, so you can have website.com in your main domains account and then using Route53, or you cannot use Route53. And then in your other accounts, your child accounts, like directories and websites live, you could do mail.website.com and then point that back to the DNS settings of wherever your main DNS is held. You can do the same for your websites with www.website.com. In a nutshell, Route53 is a complete end-to-end DNS service. But that's enough theory, let's get started with Route53. Hello and welcome back. In this video, we're going to be registering our organization's domain name. If you already have a domain, then that's fine. You can skip this and the course and the instructions will cater for both. Buying a domain name or a top-level domain does cost some money. The price will vary depending on the name itself and also the provider you choose to go with. We'll be using Route53, which is Amazon's end-to-end DNS service. Through Route53, Amazon also works with external registrars to register the TLD for you on your behalf. AWS then charges the billing account, which in our case is the management account. We can fully manage our DNS records through Route53, which means we can configure it for both a mail server as well as for a WordPress website. For this course, I will actually be using a domain I purchased on GoDaddy, but I'll be using Route53 later in the course to manage subdomains. The reason for this is that I've had a few issues with Route53 over the last few days. I think it's because I've registered too many domains recently, and now it won't even complete my registration. Either way, the parts of the course where I do use a third-party domain, I will also explain how to do those parts with Route53. We will be registering the domain inside of the domains account. So firstly, navigate to Control Tower and then Organization. You can see the newly created account there under Shared Services. So first things first, we need to have an IAM user with permissions to Route53 inside of the domains account. To keep things simple, what we can do is we can grant the currently logged in user, the federated user, access to the domains account. So firstly, what we can do is in Control Tower, go to Users and Access, and then View in Identity Center. Alternatively, we can search Identity Center or SSO in the Search for Services bar. Then what you want to do is go to AWS Accounts and then Shared Services and then the domains account. Select that assign users or groups. Then we want to find the management account. Next, and then we want a permission set to apply. So permission sets we'll go through later when we do the identity center part of the course, but power user should be plenty enough, so find power user, and then next review and submit, and then done. It may take some time for the IAM user to get access to that account, so wait for that to finish and then come back. Now we can go back to the dashboard and then go to our link. If you want to customize that link, we actually can do, but that's up to you. Click that link, and then now you can see that we have the power user access to that account. Okay, so we start off on this single sign-on link. We may as well close the other tabs since they've been signed out. Now you may want to bookmark this like I have, because it will be useful in the course. So we want to go ahead and log in with the power user access to the domains account. That's going to sign us in. Okay, so you can see we're logged in as a power user access with the management user, but we're in the domains account. So go ahead to Route53. Okay. Now what you want to do is register domains. If you don't see that, just press getting started. So register our domain. Now here we can choose a domain. So I like cheap ones because, you know, I'm cheap, so .link domains is great. And what we'll do is a company making everything. ACME, Acme. Check that. That's fine, that's unique, so we can add that to our cart and continue. Okay, so we're going to need to fill in some details here. Registrant, administrative and technical contacts. If it's a real production company, they may be different, but for our personal use case, it's the same. So I'm going to fill these details in and see you on the other side. Okay, so we've filled in all the details, clicked the next button, ticked all the boxes, and now we should see audit submitted successfully. Blah, blah, blah. That's fine. Now, if you were like me, then you'll see something like this where it hasn't gone through and hasn't worked, but that's fine. If it has worked fine for you and you don't have such an email, you should be able to see that in pending requests. You should have a line here where I don't. That's fine. From here you should be able to manage all the DNS settings and do everything needed in the course. Now, I personally went and got a domain through GoDaddy. As you can see here, GoDaddy has a bunch of domains. You can look through them. You can also use other services like 123reg. I've used them before, they're okay. Either way, the rest of the course should be fine, but that's it for now. So thanks for doing this part of the course, and I'll see you in the next part.